Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the Water Trio Astrology podcast. I'm back with the lovely Cassandra and Alicia. Welcome, team.
Hey.
Hello.
So we are very excited because we're just fresh off the back of our Sydney sort of live event looking at the astrology of 2019, and we're together, not in person now, which is a bit disappointing after earlier this week. But we're going to have a look at the astrology of the week starting Monday, February 4th, which has a really nice new moon to kick off the week in Aquarius, which will be sextile Jupiter in Sag, and there's a really nice Sun sextile Jupiter aspect coming up later this week. Chinese New Year is happening this week as well because we've got the second new moon after the December solstice. So I guess kicking off, it's kind of like the first episode of a new month and we've got a new moon. How are you girls feeling about it? Any thoughts on the Aquarius new moon?
I'm looking forward to just the insights that potentially will come along with it, you know. Aquarius is always innovative and breakthroughs and new perspectives on things. So, yeah, I feel like, and it's going to be forming that nice sextile to Jupiter, as you said. So I feel like it'll be drawing in that lovely brainstorming, quite heady, you know, throwing ideas up against the wall and really seeing what sticks. But I feel like those ideas will be out of a brand new place, probably from a brand new kind of perspective. So, yeah, that's my sense on it all.
It does have that kind of fresh, you know, out of the blue kind of tone to it. What are your thoughts, Cass?
I'm just very happy to have a lunation that's not an eclipse.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
So that will be kind of nice just to get back into some new moon intentions and just, you know, feeling those vibes without any kind of impending doom attached. So, yeah, you know, the fact that Mercury is sort of in the mix, I think is kind of nice as well. You know, I know he's sort of, you know, working up towards a retrograde phase, but just having, you know, him near the new moon, I think is kind of nice and might, as you said, Lishi, help promote or encourage some of those, you know, fresh insights or revelations that can happen around that Aquarius energy anyway.
Yeah, the Mercury vibe this week is quite nice because the moon does get to Mercury shortly after the new moon itself. But the fresh insight, visionary, I do think it's a very forward-looking kind of new moon, and not having that eclipse angsty tone to it definitely lifts. It feels like there's going to be a lightness to this.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's just after having a couple of months of lunations that were eclipses, it's just going to be, you know, just kind of feeling like there's a normal about it now. Little bit, you know, less turning points and dynamic. Like it's just a fresh start, and then we can build, you know, this period through until sort of August when the full moon in Leo happens.
And I also feel like, you know, Aquarius, I love the stepped back nature of Aquarius. You know, it thinks before it acts. You know, there's a calmness and a neutrality to it that I love. So I think even more, you know, it's different to the way the buffet of crazy that these eclipses have been. You know, it's kind of like, you know, yeah, just a bit more neutral.
Which one of you started that phrase? Because I only
It was
hear
you,
it from
Lishi.
either of you. The buffet of crazy. Yeah, January. I know we talked about that for our live event, but that idea of January being a little bit hectic and, yeah, this, because it is more of a calm lunation. It's that sort of slightly detached or just big picture, or, you know, I'm standing back and taking it all in rather than being in the thick of it and maybe being overwhelmed by it, which is nice.
Yeah. And it does have a humanitarian kind of quality to it as well. You know, Aquarius is always trying to get the big picture and look after everybody, and they don't love the drama. So, yeah, hopefully this will, if there is dramatics going on, you know, you could be sending intentions this month around being able to step back from the drama and see it from a clear point of view and or a new perspective, so you don't get dragged into it, because drama's really the last thing that needs to be dragging our energy back as we're heading into the Saturn South Node period that's starting in a few months. So, yeah, I feel like it can give us a new level of coolness so that, yeah, I feel like our emotions will really potentially get triggered if we allow them, especially with the retrograde coming up in Pisces that I'm sure we will get to.
Yes, we will. I don't know. I feel like the new moon in Aquarius is a chance to get a little bit of clarity, because it's such a lovely, rational kind of air sign. And I think that's one thing that sets this week in February apart from the rest of the month is we do have the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius. The very end of this week, Sunday the 10th, we have Mercury move into Pisces. So it's kind of like take advantage of that more clear, rational energy of Mercury in Aquarius while you can. Because even though, of course, we'll have the Sun in Aquarius for the rest of the month, Mercury won't be there. So that's definitely going to change our kind of thinking perspective.
And I'd just be nice to have a little bit of an insight to the other side of Saturn right now, because we've got such Capricorn Saturn vibe. It'd just be nice to have the Aquarian Saturn vibe for a bit instead.
Yep. Although earlier that day, doesn't Venus move into Capricorn? So she's kind of the one leading the cheer, but I feel like she's doing things in a little bit nicer way than what's been happening so far.
Yeah, she's definitely going to try to soften the Capricorn landscape. But it is nice to get that contrast. I was very happy when the Sun left Capricorn this year, just to have the Sun, like that one of the main luminaries in a sign different from Saturn and the South Node and Pluto. And one of my favorite aspects all month is coming up this week, which is the Sun in Aquarius sextile Jupiter and Sag. That's happening about 18 degrees Aquarius and Sag. It'll be Thursday in Canada and the States and Friday if you're in Australia. I just think it's going to help something come together maybe a little bit easily, and it's certainly going to bring some sort of offering. I feel like the Sun is helping activate that Jupiter and Sag gift or opportunity, and saying yes to something at the end of this week, could be really an amazing thing to do. But what are your thoughts on that aspect, gals? Are you excited about it as well?
Yes, I am. I think that will be really nice. Probably just my own personal bias there. I think the Mercury sextile Jupiter, it would be sort of Sunday in the States, but Monday here at 18 degrees would be nice too. But yeah, I mean, after the period that we've had, that Sun sextile Jupiter is certainly going to bring up, just kind of like putting the big wigs, the big guys, the ones that have got the larger than life sort of radiance and warmth supporting each other is definitely uplifting. There's possibility there. And anything that's interacting with Jupiter in a good way right now is, an opportunity, I think, to, place your bets on that, move forward with that. And take the going while it's good,
Yeah, what was your saying the other day, Cass? Make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, this is such a positive aspect between two classically positive planets. A nice little sextile just to activate that courage and confidence of the Sun, and to maybe bring through a bit of wisdom or knowledge of Jupiter. I mean, I always think about with Sun Jupiter, the idea of, mentorship or learning, or, finding a teacher that is really going to help take you to the next level, or you recognizing that you are ready to take that next step yourself. It's sort of a confident inducing, like, believe in yourself, take that leap of faith, take that risk, jump and the net will appear. Kind of thing.
Yeah. As we were discussing the other day, all our Jupiter-ness, it's like if that opportunity comes your way, just say yes, sort out the details later.
Totally. Yeah.
Because there's always that wiggle room with Jupiter.
Yeah. And I think there's that willingness for people to meet you and part way or to work with you, because this week is also like there's a few different sextile aspects coming through. So it does feel like I think we've got Mercury sextile Mars and Mercury sextile Uranus.
Yeah.
So there is some collaboration and connection coming through, I think.
Yeah, I think when there's a series of sextiles, there's this something's trying to connect, something's trying to come together. It just needs a little bit of a coaxing or it's got a goaded quality to it. It's not that time to rest on your laurels or she'll be right, mate. It's a little bit more like, okay, there's a carrot dangling here. I'm going to do what I can to kind of, take that bite. So there's a little bit of a hunger behind a sextile, I find.
Yeah, that's a really great way of describing it, Cass. There's like a hunger, and I think it's like there's a gift on the table and you don't want to leave it there. Like you don't want to leave it on the table because it's just right there. It's like it's amazing and it's within your reach kind of thing.
It's like you're being offered an invitation, but you're the one that's actually got to turn up at the party. It's
totally.
It's not like Cinderella where a carriage is going to just turn up and magically take you there. You have to make the effort, book the Uber, jump in the taxi, whatever you need to do to get there. And I feel like, with this as well, because it's between air and fire, it's like I just get a feeling of these passionate ideas that will come up, what we're already talking about with the new moon, this almost enhances that energy because it's between that Jupiter and Aquarius, Sag and Aquarius again. So, any ideas that you have, any, new thoughts of how to bring this Jupiter and Sagittarius more up into life and breathe more life into it is an avenue to follow.
100%. I think that's a really great point, Leash. Like this is fire and air coming together, and these are the two yang or yang, like they're the hot elements. They are about action and activity. They are about stimulating and energizing and activating things. So given that we're also very new in the moon cycle, we have a new moon at the start of the week, which means we've got a waxing, growing moon. It's like a baby moon, but it's very enthusiastic. It's very energetic, other than, of course, when it hits Neptune. But for the most part, the moon is on that waxing tone. And, there is definitely, it's like being drawn forward. Sometimes I say to people, here's, I had some clients pop in this week and they had needed an event chart for a thing, and it's something they'd been dragging their heels about for a while. But I sort of said, look, here's a really nice time astrologically. If you start getting planned and ready for this and it all comes together smoothly, take that as confirmation that this is, the right time to do this thing. And, because I always say to people, if you start doing things and you hit roadblock after roadblock, you got to listen to those signs, basically. Because I do believe when you're kind of in that right alignment, the way forward kind of opens up, almost like, God parting the Red Sea for Moses kind of thing. Like when you're really in alignment and it's a good time to do what you need to do. It's not that you won't have to put effort in, but your effort should get you results. And that's the feeling with this Sun-Jupiter kind of energy is, if you start something and you're getting positive feedback or the first step comes together more easily than you think, use that as encouragement just to go as far as you can, because there is a real, Jupiter's helping grease the wheels this week. Yeah. So are there other aspects that you guys are really excited for this week?
I do like Mars squaring the nodes. So I think that's at 21. So Mars will be at 21 Aries and then 26 maybe? Yep. 25, 26. Yeah, sorry. Yep. I've still got that Mars-Pluto square in my head.
Mars-Pluto square, yeah. Understandably, that one's a hard one to shake.
I really enjoy when, a planet squares the nodes from the perspective that there is a real turning point there. If there's opportunity, at least with Mars, breaking old patterns, what's not working. So you were just saying if you find yourself just trying to push against things and it's not working, there's your sign. So the Mars square, the nodes might be that reminder, okay, I'm pushing against something here and it's not working. I need to take a course correction or a different direction to make this work for me. And Mars, in Aries, having the courage to recognize perhaps I've got to do things a little bit differently, and it's not just about headbutting that wall consistently to try and get what I want. it's maybe adopting a little bit more of a strategic approach or whatever is necessary. It's a habit-breaking opportunity. That's how I see this one.
That's a great turn of phrase, Cass. Do you have any thoughts on this, Leash?
Not really.
Okay, I love it. That's
No,
okay.
I was just thinking, just using the knife to slice away, that whole surgeon's knife analogy with Mars, to just slice away, keep slicing away at what's needed. I really feel like this whole year is going to be about pattern breaking and habit breaking and moving forward. So yeah, this is definitely one time using those nodes, the activations to the nodes to do it. So I think, that roadblock analogy that you were talking about, almost like it's not to say you can't keep going down that road, but when you meet those roadblocks, try and work out what they are. Is it that you're definitely not meant to go down that path, or are you limiting yourself in places? Are there habits and patterns coming up where you're stopping yourself? And therefore, if that's what's happening, use that knife to slice those away so you can keep going.
It's a fine line, isn't it? And it actually reminds me of a conversation I had over dinner at UAC with a fellow astrologer last year. It's like, it's a real kind of easy. A lot of people buy into the thinking, if it doesn't serve your higher purpose, or if it's not right for you, it's toxic, cut it out. And that's definitely often a necessary thing. But where is that then just kind of counterbalance with, no, I just need to try a little bit harder. I need to persist with this for longer. I need to show more perseverance or determination. And I mean, that's a choice that everybody has to make that is right for them. And when we're talking about Mars, Mars often does represent having to choose, because choosing this option means you go in this direction, which means you then don't go in that direction and you don't get that option. So, and I find when Mars squares the nodes, it is a real kind of turning point, especially if it plays into something in your own chart. Yeah.
And I feel like, we've got, so later on in the week, the aspect I'm looking at is Mercury moving into Pisces. And the fact that the retrogrades are going to be happening in there, it's almost like a perfect time to really be doing that self-examination, turning our minds inwards and examining those patterns that are coming up and what's stopping us. Because often we are our own worst enemies in things. And I feel like with this Pisces energy, that it's going to be crazy and all over the place, and it's going to be hard to be focused on the external world, but I feel like it's a real chance to be contemplative and meditative and just letting things bubble up from inside, come to the surface. So... Yeah,
look, I do definitely agree on the Mars square nodes. I think that's going to be exact on Saturday, I think everywhere. 26 Aries to the nodes at 26 Cancer Capricorn. And I always love that image of Mars as a cutting or a slicing, like Mars, the knife, the surgeon's knife. It's a very powerful tool. You just want to use it with awareness, basically, just to make sure that you are doing the cuts that need to happen. And that square the nodes is a condition known as the bendings that shows up a fair amount in the medieval literature. And they do seem to give some prominence or significance to planets when they're at that sort of turning point between, the north node and the south node. So definitely those themes around adjustment or transition, and then the cutting or the slicing and dicing that needs to happen to allow you to make the shift or to create some of the progress and momentum that you're looking at. And then it's like a totally different energy the next day when Mercury goes into Pisces.
So what did I cut off again?
Yeah, why? What? Like, forgetfulness is likely.
I don't know. There's like a lot of talk about Mercury in Pisces. I know we spoke about it sort of personally over the last few days when we were all together in Sydney, but I'm kind of quote me on this, I'll probably change my mind, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's going to be a bit of a funky ride, but I think it's going to be kind of cool, We have had so much intensity in the sky these last little bit. I think this will just be kind of like a little bit of there's going to be the confusion and the chaos, drunken, dazed and confused and stuff. But it might be nice just to sort of check out of reality a little bit. Not too much, of course, but it might just be that opportunity to do that. And with all the heaviness that's kind of lingering in the skies, this might just be, bugger it. I'm going to go and drink that wine and watch that Netflix, or I'm just going to go to the beach and do what, makes me feel good for the moment, or read that book. Just that little bit of escapism, I think, is just going to be kind of helpful. And it might be allowing yourself to do that will give you those, beautiful Mercury in Pisces creative insights that can help you deal with or reshape the reality of whatever else is going on in the Capricorn side of life for you.
Yeah. It seems like the perfect antidote to the control and, that authoritarian stuff that's going on in Capricorn. It's like, okay, actually on this part of my life, I'm going to take my hands off the wheel and just see where the universe wants me to be and let go a bit, which for me, it's almost like peeling my fingers off the wheel one at a time. So
yeah, I feel like everybody's going to have a different response to
totally.
The Mercury in Pisces for sure. So it is, I think it's key for people just to know, there is that shift coming, and the mental energy or the energy around communication and deal making and organizations is going to shift. So I think we had talked about this. I don't know. I can't remember. I've done a few talking events recently, but definitely that idea of if you have travel to book or you've got some long-range planning or scheduling logistical stuff to do, I would try and get it done this week before Mercury goes into Pisces if you can. For me personally, like Mercury in Pisces, as you guys have said, it's going to be great for tuning out, for taking maybe a social media or a tech detox, great for inspiration. But I know for me personally, I've got to book flights for the NORWAC conference coming up in Seattle in May, and my plan is to get those finalized before Mercury moves into Pisces.
Same.
Yeah. You're in the same boat too, Cass, right? We both talked about, we don't want to do that after Mercury goes into Pisces.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but if you've got any creative projects, especially writing ones to be doing, it's the perfect energy to be doing it under.
It is. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to actually finally getting in and starting, getting some information up and writing some articles for the new website. So, I'm really looking forward, and I'm blocking out that next week just to work on that, to kind of try and get those creative vibes working and tap into that juicy Jupiter of mine in Pisces.
Totally. I mean, that's one of the things to remember. That's a good point, Leash. If you do have planets in Pisces, or maybe Pisces is your 10th house of career or your 7th house of relationships, the longer cycle, because Mercury is going to be in Pisces for 2 months, this can actually help, if you've got a planet in Pisces, Mercury is going to help you speak from that planet, or, get to know that planet a bit better. And whatever house area, you've got Pisces in your chart, there's going to be a lot more opportunity to learn and connect in that area of life. For sure. And this week, I don't know, is there any other astro for this week? Or
I don't think so. There's nothing.
It's not super crazy, is it? That's how different February is from January.
Was it Venus moving into Capricorn earlier on the Monday, or did we talk about that last episode?
I think we might have talked about it because it's happening on the Sunday in Canada and the States.
It's over the split weeks.
We can talk about it for sure.
No. I'm already in Pisces in
you don't want to take me back.
Take me back. I mean, I guess we should just quickly summarize. Venus does move into Capricorn Sunday the 3rd, Monday the 4th, just depending on where you are. So that's a more grounded, stabilizing energy coming in relationship-wise. So this is our first full week of that, basically.
Yeah. And I just like for me, it's about the wisdom access that you can get from Capricorn. And I just feel like it's kind of tapping into our own values and getting some wisdom around what we need to be doing and where we need to be realigning ourselves. Like the January really hit off and targeted all that Capricorn energy for us. And I feel like a lot of us have some ideas now on what needs to be done. So Venus is going to bring in maybe some conversations or people or some wisdom and insight into how we can heal that energy or connect with others who can help us heal that energy and move forward into the year.
For sure. Yeah, she's definitely going to soften up, you know, the places that have been a bit dry and a little bit maybe barren, for sure. So any announcements then as we're getting to the end of this week? Anything you guys have going on first week of Feb?
Yes. I have my, I'm speaking for the Association of Young Astrologers on the Thursday night in the States. So it's the dinner and drinks event, and therefore it is Friday afternoon, lunchtime here in Oz. So I'm going to be speaking on one of my favourite topics, which is aversion in the birth chart.
Oh, excellent.
So just a brief rundown of what that technique is. And then basically just, you know, let's check our charts and chat about it. So pretty informal and fun. So it's a free event. And if you're not a member of AYA, I think it's like $20 US, I think, a year to sign up for that. Then you get a back catalogue of a ton of awesome content from astrologers. So for you $20, you get a lot of Jupiter juice, a lot of wisdom on their back catalogue. So if you can join us, if you go to their Facebook page and click on so it's Association for Young Astrologers, click on their events and you'll find all the details on there.
We'll pop it in the show notes for this episode as well.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Leash, do you have anything that you've got going on? I realise I've got lipstick on my teeth, but you've probably got something much more elegant than that.
I'm wearing a Metallica t-shirt, so
yeah,
a bit of elegance all around, right?
Totally.
I've got my New Moon gathering on the Sunshine Coast on the Monday night, but it's already sold out. So,
get in early for next month if anyone's interested.
Yes. That'd be a nice one. Pisces on the beach.
Yeah, well, and that's no surprise, Leash, given this is such a lucky kind of positive new moon. That's great to hear. Yeah.
So, if anyone is on the Sunshine Coast and you want to come to my New Moon events, go on and like my Facebook page, which is /Future Frequency.
Excellent. And I've got my last live event in Sydney will be Thursday night, the 7th, on the Sun Sextile Jupiter day, which was done intentionally. So I'm doing a talk in Crow's Nest, 7 o'clock start, I think, and we'll be looking at passion and purpose in the birth chart to sort of try and answer the question of what should I do with my life. It is a live event in Sydney, so if you're in Crow's Nest and you want to come along, that's fantastic. But I know many of our listeners are not in Australia, and there will be an audio recording and the PDF presentation will be available. So I've said to people, if you can't make it live, but you'd still like the information, just register, and everyone who registers will get all the information, so all the training, basically. So that's coming up for me this week. Because I'm still in Sydney, which I'm very happy about. Usually the weather's good, but today is a little bit cooler, hence a scarf.
After 38 degrees yesterday.
I know, it was such a change, such a crazy change. I was really enjoying that high heat. But I guess you can find out more about each of us. Alicia is online at futurefrequency.com.au. Is that right, Leash?
Yeah.
And Cass is at CassandraTyndallAstrology.com. I can never remember.
No astrology.
It's
just my name.
Yeah.
It's long enough as it is.
That's true. It is. And I'm at kellysastrology.com. So thank you all for listening this week, and we look forward to catching you all up very soon.
Bye.
Bye.